Good morning. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mindset Monday. I want to take this opportunity to thank my friend Sam Burns for participating in my question on Instagram yesterday, which was, what are you having challenges with? What do you want to hear about? What do you want this Mindset Monday to look like? Because at the end of the day, I'm here for you, right? So I can show up and talk about whatever I feel is important, but throw me some topics, you guys, and I'm here to, be a part of the community to help you. So Sam, I see that you joined in, Mr. Sam Burns, and I appreciate it. So here's your topic today, and the I think super common question is, why won't my staff sell retail when it's so obvious to us as owners that A, it could be a good revenue stream, and B, um, it's a part of the service to us. So as leaders, we think a little bit differently than our staff do. I mean, it's not a good or a bad thing, it's just a different thing. When you're a business owner, we look at all the opportunities because we have businesses to keep alive, and we look at how all those different opportunities layer into this thing called I have revenue coming in and I have bills going out, and we have to create this guest experience so our clients keep coming back. So we think it's an obvious thing, but it is a challenge. And Sam, when you brought this up yesterday on why can't the staff see the benefit in selling retail? I thought, oh my God, it's such a common question. And so I thought we could spend a little time talking about that today to the tune of 30 minutes. So I'm glad that you guys tuned in. Sam Dean, good to see you. Khan, good to see you. Brenna, I know a lot of you guys are just now starting to jump in here. So, okay. Um, well, I think before we talk about how can we change the mindset of our team, we have to understand what's going on. And so I have a couple of thoughts, and then I have a philosophy. So I want to share my thoughts with you first. And then I want to share this philosophy that I've always carried since the day we opened our business, which was in 1992. So, we're moving into 33 years, even though I am not the owner of those businesses anymore as of recent. Um, these are issues that we dealt with every single day. And I work with my salon owner clients on these specific topics. Every time I go in to do an in salon, it's a huge focus, and trying to really navigate a mindset. So I think that we could all um, get behind this idea. First of all, the question being, why aren't my staff selling? We can all get behind this idea, and we've heard this probably for decades if we've been in the business this long, that my staff doesn't want to feel pushy. And that is a real thing, that I don't think anyone wants to feel pushy. I think that different personalities approach, like you have some people that have high retail sales, some people that have super low retail sales. And I'm not sure that a lot of people that have the higher retail sales are necessarily going in as a strategy, although they could be competitive and they could love selling. But there's a way and a part of their personality that really loves to educate the client, make sure the client has what they need, and they're thinking along those lines. And they have found a way inside their personality that works for them to talk to the client about what they need and bring excitement and enthusiasm, to where the client, of course, wants to know what we're using. Because one of the biggest complaints that a client has when they leave our business is, I can't do my hair the way you did it. And I mean, of course you can't, because the biggest breakdown in our industry is that the stylists are not educating their clients on what they're using, why they're using it, and how the client should use it at home. And why aren't they doing that? They might not think it's important. They might be lazy around it. They might forget to do it, although I don't get that. But again, I'm on the leadership side of it. Um, and that big one saying, I'm afraid of being pushy. And I think that this is a big one. In if that is the reason, then it's our job to help our team. If this is the reason, have conversations as opposed to selling. And when the last, I'm going to say 5 years at least, it could be longer, that I have done in salon trainings in salons, I say to the staff, I want you to stop selling. And I don't want people to sell. I want people to have authentic conversations. So if you feel that you're being pushy or your team feels like they're being pushy, I think the missing link is that they're missing the authentic conversation around the needs of the guest. And how do we as leaders talk to our team and help our team to see that that is really the path forward? And when I hear that leaders are coaching their staff on their numbers, coaching a number won't change a number. So if I am your boss, your manager, your owner, and I'm going to sit down and talk to you about performance, about what's going on with your clients, building your clientele, streams of revenue, how to make more money, all of these things, I am not going to use your numbers to coach you on the number. A number won't change a number. The only thing that'll change any outcome that we're seeking in our life, whether it's any number, the number on the scale, can anyone relate to that? The number in our business, the number on our P&L, is to change a behavior. A number won't change a number, guys. And I mean, I had to retrain myself for decades, because for decades I talked to my staff about, okay, well, you're at $12 retail per client ticket and our goal is 18. And they're just going to sit there and say, okay, great, I see that and I'm going to work on it. But if they don't have the tools in on having these authentic conversations and tools on having a great consultation and a conversation inside the consultation around truly what the client needs authentically, they might not need anything and they might need 10 things. I don't really know. But it's going to take a conversation in order to find that out. So I can understand if someone doesn't want to feel pushy, they haven't been taught how to have authentic conversations with their clients to help them. The second thing is, which kind of ties into the first thing, which is a lack of confidence in how to talk to the client, which refers to point number one, but also a lack of confidence in product knowledge. So I was in North Carolina working with my awesome client at Wild Olive Salon in North Carolina a couple weeks ago. They have 3 locations, an amazing team. And we were talking about these conversations and the difference between looking at your numbers and beating yourself up. That's not what I want people to do. I want people to look at their numbers and use it as a guide. I've said this forever. Numbers tell a story, and they tell a story, if our numbers are high, where we want them to be high, of somebody that has high engagement in that area, whatever that number is. So if your numbers are high in add-on services and pre-book and retail sales, whatever it is, you have energy in that area. You have high engagement in that area. If your numbers are low in any of those areas or any other areas, there's low engagement there. There's low energy, low focus, low intention there. And the question becomes, how do I create high engagement as a behavior, not looking at a number and beating myself up because I'm a horrible person? Low numbers doesn't mean anything about your character. It just means something about your behaviors. And I think it's really important that we make that distinction and we don't look at people that have lower numbers and think less of them. Yet, how do we become a curious leader? And curiosity to me is one of the number one strongest traits of a leader that you can have. Curiosity around your team, curiosity around the process, curiosity around the behaviors that change your outcome. The number is a gauge. It's just a gauge to tell you if people have engagement and intention and confidence in a certain area or they don't. It doesn't mean anything about their character or they're a bad person or they're a bad hairdresser. In fact, some people might have a really high add-on services and feel super comfortable talking about the process of adding a conditioning treatment on and adding this on, yet they might have low retail because maybe they aren't confident. Now, Sam says, how do we become curious? Well, how do you become curious? You ask questions. Curiosity is about having a desire to understand what's going on above and beyond your judgment around what's going on. Yeah, Steph, good to see you. Yeah, by asking how. Yes, by asking how, okay? Asking questions, yes, but being a curious leader is having a desire to understand what is going on deeper than our judgment around what we think is going on, seeking to understand. Wayne Dyer said, and I love this, seek first to understand and then to be understood. It's easy for us to jump to judgment. Someone's not selling retail, so I'm going to judge them on the type of hairdresser they are or person that they are. No, right? So there could be a lack of confidence, which is my second point. So my first point for those of you that are just joining in, Perry, good to see you if that is you behind the Perry Montage name, um, is fear of being pushy. Okay, that's one. Lack of confidence in product knowledge. So I was talking about I was in North Carolina a couple weeks ago, um, and I was working with a salon group that I work with, and I asked the team how confident they felt in their product knowledge. And as we know, probably part of our onboarding, we put people through product knowledge, we put them through consultation training, I hope, and then we move on to the next thing. But product knowledge is ever evolving. There are so many products that, if you notice, people grab the same three products every time they're working with their clients. Those are the products they feel confident in. How do we expand their knowledge and share together as a group and as a team? What's my favorite product? What works best for me? What kind of hair would I use it in? And challenge your team to try three new products, something different. And why? Have them learn one new product a day. What is the featured product and how does everybody use that thing? We have to bring fun and excitement to the workspace. So, lack of confidence is another factor of why your team are not sharing their retail knowledge. And I'm not even saying selling retail because I don't want anybody to sell retail. I want you to share your knowledge around what is going to work at home for the customer. If they buy something, they do. If they don't, they don't. But if we learn how to have authentic conversations slash consultations and being a curious stylist and asking the right questions, we're going to be able to service a need with a client they may not have even known they had. But if we don't teach our team how to become curious and have the right conversation with no thought of whether they're going to sell something or not, that is true connection. That is human to human. I want to help you. I don't want to sell you something. And one of my stylists that has worked for me for, I'm going to say decades, Andrea, Andrea Roy, she said something to me years and years ago that um, I have never forgotten. She said, be 100% committed to those authentic conversations and 0% attached to the outcome. So I'm 100% committed to seeing what is it that you need? What are you using? What's working? What's not working? Making the recommendation that you authentically feel is going to help that guest and letting go of the outcome. That's a behavior instead of being focused on the outcome of a number. If we focus on what is the consultation that you're training in your salon, that's a behavior. If your team doesn't know how to have great conversations where they're tuning into this philosophy of the sole purpose that my clients are coming to me is because they have an issue. The issue could be the hair is too long, it's too dry, it's too blonde, it's too dark, it's too flat, it's too oily, whatever it is. They're coming to you to fix something. That's what we are. We're fixers, we're problem solvers. But we don't take the time as stylists or owners to train our stylists, okay? Because whenever there's something going on under your roof, if you're a leader, you got to look in the mirror, right? It's easy to point the finger. Why aren't they doing something? But what could I be doing different to help support their growth? So when a client comes in and they have a problem, I want my team to think I have the solutions for them, but let me ask the appropriate questions so I can get the information I need in order to solve the problem. And so then we go back to client, because you said, I'm recommending this so that you don't have that problem anymore. They either take the recommendation or they don't. But you followed through with professional recommendations and a behavior that's going to help the client. If I have a super thorough consultation with my client, an authentic conversation around their needs, and then I share with them how to fix that, how to help them, how to get out of this problem that they're having by what I'm using, by how I'm cutting it, by how we're coloring it, by how we're adding volume, whatever it is. And at the end of and I share with them what I'm using and why. And at the end of the service, like based on our conversation, these are the things that I want you to use at home, right? And so will get you rung up. Remember, this is how we used it. If they take one thing, great. If they take five things, great. If they take nothing, great. I don't care. What I care about is that we are creating and elevating our service to a level where the client feels heard. We are here to solve a problem that they have, and they can either take that advice or leave it. It's not my job to make sure they take the advice. My job as a leader is to make sure that my team is educated on how to have those conversations. If you don't know how to have those conversations, you have work to do so that you can then train your team. Because this gets me to, so understanding the challenge for those of you that are just jumping in, the challenge of why my team doesn't sell, right? So we have these, I talked about fear, they're afraid of being pushy. I talked about lack of confidence in product knowledge. I talked about misaligned mindset. The misaligned mindset is that some of your staff might think, well, my job is just to provide a service. And the misaligned mindset is that part of that service is solving problems. And the problem might be in the actual service, the haircut, the color, the extensions, whatever it is. But the solution could also be in how they're doing their hair at home. And the misaligned mindset is that they haven't put those two things together yet. It's our job as leaders to align the mindset and put those things together, which really brings me to this overarching thought that I think we should really think about. Everything our team does and does not do under our leadership, under our watch, is a function of the culture that we've created. Dang, right? You just wanted to come on here and be like, can you tell me what to tell my staff, right? Instead, I'm saying, as a leader, if you are not seeing something happen in your business that you want to see happen, you have to look in the mirror, because it's a function of your training or lack thereof, of your conversations or lack thereof, of knowing how to have a conversation or lack thereof, of the culture that you have created or lack thereof. If you have created a culture in your business and inside your onboarding, and it has always been a part of who you are, like it has always been a part of who we are, that our consultations are trained. They're not trained once, they're not trained twice, they're trained all the time in how to have authentic, caring, connected conversations that solve the problems of our customer. Through those conversations, if then I look and see that somebody's numbers are low or the gauge is down, doesn't mean they're a bad person. It means they may not be engaging in the conversation in the way that we trained it. And we get to go back and retrain the behavior so that the client gets what they need. And so, what kind of culture do you have? Is my question, if you're not getting the results that you want. Am I saying it's easy? No. Am I saying that because for 32 years we created in our salons a culture where servicing the guests with the hair services and their home care, that is the culture? Am I saying that we never had staff that challenged that? Absolutely not. Was it easy? No. Did I train it once and then let it go and pray that it took off? No. It's an ongoing cultural training. And if you want the culture of how people talk to their clients to be different, let me backtrack. If you want your results to be different, the percentage of clients adding on services, the percentage of clients pre-booking, the percentage of clients purchasing retail, your retail per client, whatever it is. If you want the end result to be different, your culture has to be different. How you train your team, what your expectations are, how you hold people accountable in a loving way, in a curious way, to find out what's stopping them from their success, from the streams of revenue, from building a bigger book. We have to look at ourselves for that, guys. There is not a magic pill for me to say, if you take this or buy this, things are going to change forever. No, it is an ongoing process of great leadership and holding people to a higher level, right? Sam, I absolutely am going to go back to retraining the consultation. Yeah, the consultation, I'm telling you guys, has to be. I figured you meant retrain, not restrain. That's I had to read that twice, Sam. Um, Inside the consultation, guys, usually what we're used to in our industry is a consultation going like this. I ask you a question, you answer, I give you my recommendation. I ask you a question, you answer, I give you my recommendation. It kind of goes like that, right? Like it's this toggle. I want to propose that you don't toggle, that in the consultation, you just ask questions to gather the information you need to make an overall recommendation for the customer. You need all of the information first. How often are they shampooing their hair? What shampoo do you use? What conditioner do you use? What deep treatment do you use? How do you feel the condition of your hair is? What volumizer do you use? What heat protector do you use? What are the specific questions so you can gather the information? They may say, oh, I use this, or I don't even use that. I've never heard of that. Oh, right. Okay. Well, this is something we're going to add into your repertoire because of you're telling me your hair feels dry. So I'm going to add this in. Let's see how it feels. There are organic ways to have these conversations, but we have to take the time to train the team. We train them, they practice. You could do a test out or a test in. You could play games with it. Every day you could have a featured product. So people are excited about how different people in the company are using certain things. Some people might have never used this said certain product because they didn't even know about it, but it's their next door neighbor's favorite thing to use. We have to keep the conversations going. Okay. Let's, okay. So we're understanding the challenge. We're going to reframe the mindset by retraining. Equip your team with product knowledge, even if they're advanced. Have them do a training on or challenge them on using three brand new things, different things that they've never used before. Um, so I hope this helps you guys because at the end of the day, like I said in the beginning, whether it's retail, whatever numbers it is that you think to yourself, why aren't these higher? And why am I having so many issues increasing what I call low hanging fruit? It is, if you look at how to increase your revenue, technically, if you just looked at it without emotion and you were like, what's the low hanging fruit? Add on services the day of, right? Retail, if your retail sales are higher the day of, that's low hanging fruit. Pre booking that client so that the frequency of visits, so they're coming in 5 weeks instead of 8 weeks. They're coming in more times a year. So your annual revenue goes up. There are boxes to tick off to grab that low hanging fruit and create a higher day every single day by virtue of authentic conversations. Some people call them conversations, but we are not curious enough. So before you go back and take this big bat saying, we're going to do all this retraining and start bopping everybody on the head, I want you guys as leaders to be curious and start asking questions. Why do you think it is that you're selling one product to every three people when every person, as we know, if you surveyed everybody, everybody shampoos their hair, puts conditioner in their hair, probably puts a styling product in their hair and a finishing product. They probably use an average of five things. 90% of people out there, women especially. So why is it that one out of three is buying one thing? So where there is a behavior in there, there is something missing inside that appointment that we're not connecting, that the service incorporates what I'm going to do to cut, color, extend, and what you do at home. The service incorporates all of it. That's me serving you on being your problem solver. Remember, our clients come to us for one reason and one reason only, because they have a problem. They may have other problems that they're not thinking of until you ask the right questions, because they're just talking now about how they want their hair to look when they leave. They're not thinking, I ran out of this, or this isn't working for me, or every time I do my hair, it's flat by the end of the day. They might not be thinking of that when they get to their appointment, but during the week when they're styling their own hair, they might be thinking of that, and not until you are asking the appropriate questions. Are you triggering that in their mind that it's like, oh my God, yeah, my hair is flat by the end of the day, or whatever it is, my scalp is oily, whatever issues. But until we become curious, we may not know that. So, consultation training, if you guys want me to train you on consultations, you guys can DM me. You can hit me up. If you're here and you're listening, you know how to get in touch with me. And maybe you want to have a quick express session with me, because I do those. You can go to my carriedavisconsulting.com and you can see I have only like 4 offerings. One is an express coaching, one is a 3-pack that we can come in if you have a project you need to work on, and the other one is a monthly subscription. Or I do an in-salon where I come into your business where we actually can move the mountain. Sometimes one leader that has a mountain of staff and you need to get the message out there, it's easier when somebody comes in and does everybody gets that dialogue, language, motivation, and excitement all at once so the mountain can get moved. And we start seeing the needle moving to getting results. So those are my offerings. So if you need training, feel free to reach out, because I want you to give your team the right training in order to move that needle and to stay a curious leader. One of the number one traits of a great leader is a curious leader, authentically curious around what makes people tick. Because just like a consultation with your clients, you're not going to know how that client is going to need help just like if you're not curious with your staff, you're not going to know how they need help. And you might make an assumption that they're just not doing this or not doing this, or they're lazy, or whatever story you've made up, instead of exercising your curiosity and finding out really what's going on with that person. So, Sam Burns, thank you for bringing this topic up today. I hope that it was worthwhile for you all, whether you came in person or you are watching it recorded later. Let me know your thoughts. And listen, this was a request. I take requests. I'm like a singer. I take requests. If you guys want to talk about different issues on the weekly, um, message me. Let me know if you see a post that I put out that I'm saying, hey, what do you want to hear about for your Mindset Monday? Think of the challenges you're having in your business as a leader and jot it down in my comment box, and I will, voila, show up on Monday morning and talk about it. All right. So listen, Steph, happy Canadian Thanksgiving to you. Appreciate that. Next week, next Monday, I will not be doing a Mindset Monday, but I think the weekend after I will. So I'll look at my calendar. I will put our future Mindset Mondays in our event tab on Carrie Davis Consulting Facebook page. So that's where you can find those. If you haven't signed up for my newsletter, go to carriedavisconsulting.com and fill out the pop-up box and get on my mailing list so that we can be in touch. I hope you guys have an amazing week. And it's so good to see you. I feel so honored that you come here on Monday morning. So thank you so much, you guys. Have an amazing week. Let me know if you need me. Drop some comments in my comment box and let me know what direction we're going to go on our next few Mindset Mondays. It's up to you. Bye.